Hi, whoever's there in the auditorium. It's, I think, Monday after a crazy party night at MISSAB, and I'm seriously missing MISSAB. It would have been great to be there myself, but unfortunately, I'm holidaying in Phuket today, and that's why I'm going to miss this lovely meeting. And I'm going to start my brief by talking about the affable Marathi Manus. Who would have ever thought that our dear Pramod Lokhande, who's such a sweet, gentle spine surgeon, will turn out to be an Iron Man finisher in 2021. So that is a story of taking life beyond orthopedics. So a very accomplished spine surgeon would still aspire to do things outside the zone of his. Um, I beg your pardon. I'm going to take a short break because Shailesh is messaging me, calling me. One sec. Shailesh, are you there?
Yeah, please go on.
Okay, I thought you called me, so there was something to. There you go. Right, so spine surgeons are essentially medical sportsmen, and all of us within us have this touch feel attitude because we are not thinking doctors. We have curing doctors. We have guys who work with our hands, and this was aptly put in the New York Times editorial almost 10 years ago, where they said that one of the vital measures of your surgeon's skill is actually his physical self, just like like a Formula One driver or a cricketer or a policeman for that matter, an army person for that matter, would all need to be fit inherently to be able to do the duty that's put on them. Their duty is not fitness, but their duty or their job profile completely resonates with how fit they are. If you think about this for a minute, you will kind of agree with me that as a surgeon, aside of having a good, kind of a mental frame and being a good doctor, you definitely need long hours of focused surgery, especially being a spine surgeon. And for that, you need endurance. And like, some other sports, you need to have a very steady head in a tight spot. And you should have controlled aggression in phases. Otherwise, your scoliosis surgery will go on for the whole day. So you need to work hard, work fast, be a bit fearless, at the same time, be very focused. So this entire skill set is quite different from a physician or the traditional doctor's skill set. It's a skill set that is developed over time. It's a skill set that's to do with your touch, feel, hand skills, hand-eye coordination, as we say. And being that the patients have put their entire life in your hands when they are under anesthesia, um, there's no second option for us. We have to give the best results day in after day. And it's like Virat Kohli going there and hitting 100 in every game. He has to just do it because the whole country has lined up, on him, and everything rests on his shoulders. So high performance is our only option. And all of these athletes who we revere and who are, where we aspire to be as spine surgeons on the same summit of their career or their profession, they spend a significant amount of time in the gym or training before they come out and play. So there's a training zone and a performance zone. And the training zone, like Virat Kohli would spend equivalent of 3 days of the week training, working out, getting his body fit, and maybe 4 days of the week playing cricket. So in the nets, so or practicing cricket. So similarly for us, somewhere down there, we need to be spending some time on getting our physical fitness going to translate to becoming good surgeons and better surgeons. And that's one of the variables that is available to us because the skill sets of spine surgery come through time and through patience, but the skill set of being fit, having a good strong grip, a good calm mind is something that can be developed, with some practice and some, non-spine, non-academic jargon, right? Mm, what about the calm head? So we spoke about steady hands. We spoke about certain amount of strength, certain amount of aggression. But a calm head is the other problem with spine surgeons because for us, our calmness and our attitude and our mental resilience really is needed when you've really screwed up a case. So like in this case, I put a cage that went through the aorta into the pulmonary artery, and on table at that time I needed to really raise my game. I needed not to panic. I needed my entire team to to be calmed with my presence, And it's fair to say that complications in our surgery arise at the most, at the time when it hurts the most, and at the time when we are exhausted, and there's a maximum amount of panic that can happen. And hence, you need to up your game in the zone of discomfort. Once again, this is not a inborn art; it's an acquired art. And like Vishwanathan Anand, who's like the artist of the brain, he says, "I attend to my fitness when I go to the gym." And a gym, when you're pushing the miles, when you're pushing your endurance, when you're running that last 5K or the last 2K of your 21K, it's really, that's when your mind has to be so strong that it has to drive the demons away. And that's exactly, I'm liking this too, when your vertebral artery bursts, when you put in all those five pedicle screws and the sixth one hits the hits the vertebral artery, and you feel that you've done so much, but you still have that last mile to go. And at that time, if your mind is not at its best, you will underperform. You will find solutions that later you would regret. So you need to be available mentally in those hard times. And I dare say that physical fitness translates to mental fitness. So those of you who do train, you will realize that the whole day you feel invincible. If you run in the morning, the whole day you feel invincible, and you feel like you're in charge of the world. So my brief actually is to talk to you about 40 stroke 50. This was, this talk evolved when I was 40. Now I'm 50. But when you look at yourself as a successful spine surgeon with with patients, blessing you and happy patients around you, and you feel like you're the god or who's walking the hospital, but you look down and you see this unhappy belly sticking out, and you feel that even when you climb 2 floors, you start panting. I think it's a bad place to be in, because you may have succeeded in 50% of your life, but the entire other 50%, which is your own being, has been left to shambles merely in the pursuit of being a good spine surgeon. And I must say, it is not too late. And I'm going to give you a quick surgeon's guide to how to move to fitness if you missed out on fitness. So, invariably, what happens to all of us is that after we finish our MS, we dive into academics, dive into career building, dive into practice, and the next 15 years whiz by trying to establish yourself as a spine surgeon. And it's fair to say that you're working long hours, and you're really not, you don't have the time to pay attention to yourself. And suddenly you're like 40, 45, or 50 and staring at an unfit, successful spine surgeon. And this is the time when you don't really have to dive into practice, because now practice is on autopilot, and you repent that you were not fit enough, that you're not able to take that mountain holiday, or you're not able to go skiing with your kids, or you're not able to cycle across the country because you're not fit to do it, and how good it would have been if you did. So how do you convert from a couch potato who's lost his physical fitness, and try to become a fit, busy spine surgeon? Now, the first thing is the start, and invariably, all of us, whoever is in the auditorium, I expect them to be out on the road tomorrow morning, because the start has to be now. The start has to be an inspired, spur of the moment start, where you say, "That's it, I need to switch." It has to kind of bite you, and you cannot procrastinate, you cannot plan for this. You can't say that, okay, next week, next Saturday I will start, tomorrow there's a J1 in my house, or there's a shadi I have to go to. You can't say that. You need to pull out time, and it could actually be today, this evening in the gym, or it could be tomorrow morning in the beautiful weather in Pune, just outside the Marriott. You can go for a long walk. Just a brisk walk would be good. Mm, remember, this is something that you got to take home, that if you want something in your life that you've never had, you will have to do something that you've never done, because your comfort lies, your magic lies outside your comfort zone. So we all live in a comfortable shell. We all get up in the morning, breakfast is served, we sit in our car, the chauffeur takes us to the hospital, the gurkha gives us a salam, and then we go in, and in the OT everyone's wishing you, your fellows have started doing the surgery, and you're like the big man who comes in and does the finishing touches, goes out, and then there are 20 patients waiting for you in OPD. It's a comfort zone, right? It gives you all the positive dopamine vibes. But really, you missed out on such a huge chunk of your life, going up mountains, seeing nature, you're getting the real endorphin high, that you need to step out of this zone to really explore what the world is like. It's like if you stay in your house all day and watch the world on the internet versus going out there yourself. So one easy thing to do is set aside 3 weeks of the inertia period, which means that today you say, I'm going to start today or tomorrow. and I'm going to put my head down and do an activity which I'm very comfortable with. One of the simplest thing is walking. So you can say I'm going to walk 3 kilometers in 30 minutes every day for the next 3 weeks, or at least 5 days a week for the next 30 minutes, for the next 3 weeks. It's like doing that patient exposure before you start the operation. It just disciplines your mind to a repetitive task, and this task should be comfortable, convenient within your capacity, whether it's playing badminton, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's just cycling on the spot. um, so these realistic goals, like I said, simple walking or swimming, is sets your mind up and sets your rhythm up into what we call disciplined physical activity. And at this time you start realizing that, oh, I did so much and I burnt only 100 calories, and when I had those two chapatis, I converted those 100 to food. So you start then looking harder at your food, which we normally don't, and you start measuring all the calories you take in. And no matter what people say, it's really calories where your weight gain happens, the food where your weight gain happens, and weight loss happens in the kitchen and not out there on the in the gym. Now, the other way to do it is to link an exercise to a habit, because all of us are busy. We come home and we are tired, and there's, you want to just have your dinner and crash off because there's a big day waiting for you the next day. But there is something that you like to do. Some people like to read a newspaper, some people like to watch a trash TV serial, someone likes Netflix, someone likes music. So, with this, which is a mental activity, you can always have a physical activity going on at the lower half. So, you could be cycling on an exercycle, you could be walking on a treadmill while you're listening to your favorite music or watching your favorite TV show. So that makes that time easy, and you realize your focus and your concentration is now improving, and literally the tiredness that you talk about goes away as you start doing a physical activity. So it does not matter whether you like to do this in the morning or in the evening or in the middle of the day between OT and OPD. It's irrelevant as long as you've done and spent that much time doing physical activities, right? So make it bunk proof. So in the sense, do not have an option of skipping. So if any of you listening right now decide that I think I want to try and go out for a walk tomorrow, tell all the friends around you that tomorrow 7 o'clock or 6:30 I'm going to be out there. Announce it to the world, so that increases the internal pressure on you, because people will ask you tomorrow, किया कि नहीं walk? इतना बोल रहा था किया कि नहीं? So that kind of announcements to your friends, family, relatives makes your job hard to miss, and you start overcoming that inertia. After these first 3 weeks, many of us as surgeons have had a sporty background. So we've done some sport, and it might be a good time to use this sport to start doing a social physical fitness with a group that's your age and your friends. So it could be cricket down, in the square, or it could be playing badminton or tennis or whatever you like. Mm, but linking up your old hobbies, which you've given up because you had a belly and you were feeling unfit, is one more way or one more avenue to then move to the real thing, which is going to the gym. And gyms have been bad mouthed for the longest time by our earlier generation. But remember, gyms are a temple for the body, literally, and they are designed with ergonomics in mind. They don't harm. All the equipment in the gym is designed to, make a good, comfortable run to fitness. And the thing about the gym is it's available all over, wherever you go. Like when I go to Phuket, I'm going to have a gym available to me. Um, it's rain or shine, you can't say, because the weather in the Western India is very unpredictable. So you can't say, "Aaj barish gira, so I didn't go for a run." And there's company, there's people around you who are doing the same thing or much more, and that kind of spurs you. So it can easily become a social activity. Let's meet at the gym at 6 and let's have beer at 7. That's fine, as long as you've done your 1 hour of diligence. And all the equipment is actually designed for you. And it's only the free hand and the funky new workouts, which are the ones that can get you prone to injury. So as long as you're working within the norms of what has been designed, you're fine. Remember that in the gym, you got to spend equal time on endurance. So you can translate that 3K walk to a treadmill or to a cycle. You need not run on the treadmill like your colleague is. So you can just do the same thing that you're doing outdoor inside, and get a friend to teach you how to use the basic pulley machines, which can then service upper body muscles and start working on individual muscle groups. The pain that you get, the sweet pain, as we say, keeps you elated in your head for the longest time. There are freehand options which you can then learn and then start translating that at home. So during the lockdown, most of us were doing the exercises shown by this orange person, boy or girl, I'm not able to say, but this orange person, whatever she or he is doing, is the kind of exercises we all did at home. They are called calisthenics, so body weight exercises. Once you've identified what muscle groups respond to what exercise, you can translate it to body weight. So the common complaints or the common pitfalls of us surgeons who are lethargic are that मेरे को time नहीं मिलता है because इतना काम रहता है. There's OPD, there's OT, there's family time, there's kids. So, and I feel tired at the end of the day. A quick rundown on this tiredness. That's my favorite slide actually. Is that the yogi in Rishikesh told me this actually, that there are three types of tiredness in your life, and the tiredness that you talk about is actually tiredness of repetition. It's not a physical tiredness, and the actual ideal antidote to this is exercise. So when you come home and drop your bag and say, I'm done, if you go for a brisk walk and sweat out, all that tiredness will get washed out because this is a tiredness that's clogged your mind. It's not a physical tiredness. The others are, of course, dropouts. So you want to avoid dropouts, like I said, by announcing the activity or making it a social activity and make it the highlight of your day. So if I'm seeing 20 patients in the afternoon, I'm sustaining myself saying that don't worry, at the end of this, a good 1 hour at the gym is waiting for me. So the highlight of my day is not seeing this crappy OPD, but the gym that follows, and then the friends and family that follows after that, right? And use your surgeon's ego to say that I can do this. Why can't I do this? And if that ego, all of us are inherently blessed with the surgeon's ego. Use this to help you work out. Use gadgets and gizmos that are fashionable because they invariably help you spur on. And the minimum requirement is a weighing scale in your house, some protein supplements, especially for vegetarians out there, and a watch which has a heart rate monitor, because you've been seeing more and more news about people having heart problems while working out. And if you're like, for me, I'm asymptomatic with nothing, but I've still done a cardiac CT angio about 4 years ago as one part of my. It doesn't mean that I'm immune to having a problem, but at least I've covered my bases. And there's no way that I'll work out without a heart monitor or a cardiac watch, which is now available for a pittance. So I know roughly where my heart is vis-a-vis my physical fitness. So if I'm running hard and my heart rate starts going beyond the 160s at 50, I would call that the limit, and I would pull back no matter how strong I feel in the legs. Now you use this fitness. So we are talking of month 2 or month 3 to start doing more cardio activity where you take the heart rate from that 110, 120 mark to the 130, 140 mark. That could be done in short bursts. It's called fartleks, where you do 5 minutes of very hard activity where your heart rate goes up and then slow down and go to your comfort zone. But overall, you've raised your bar from doing nothing to a brisk 3K walker to a 120 heart rate sustainer to now doing spurts of 140. And, that's how you then qualify yourself to do a chota run. A chota run is a 5K, 7K, 10K, a tag marathon, which gives you a real kick. If you do you should see how people are announcing from the top of the roofs that I did my first 5K. And sitting here, Pramod is going to say, boss, I've done Ironman, so dubara mat puchna. But really, it is not that. It is you and your target. The best thing about fitness is that there is no comparisons. You are becoming a better version of yourself from yesterday. So you don't have to worry if
Morning,
Pramod did an
morning, Abhay.
Ironman. Just, yes?
Hi, Abhay. It's Karthik here. Good to
Hi.
good to see you.
Karthik, thank
Yeah.
you for coming. And you're one of our inspirations because you have dived into sport, and you become the Masters tennis champion in India and internationally. And you are one of the guys who should be talking on this stage and telling us how you did it.
Thanks, Abhay. But I think it's time to go along. So can I say we'll give you another 3-5 minutes to
Right, right.
to that? Is
Yes.
that
So
okay?
I'll wind
I,
up
I,
with
I know we could have a whole day session with you and
of course, and I'd love
Rajesh.
to talk for the whole day. But I'll wind up. I get the gist. So I'll wind up in the next 3 minutes. Is that
Yeah.
good?
Thanks, Abhay.
You
Thanks, Abhay.
quickly then switch on from your shorter 10K and 5K runs to doing bigger runs. And what I do is wherever I'm traveling for a meeting, I try to find a run over there, whether it's Leh Ladakh or whether it's Spain or France, and try to do a marathon somewhere. Find friends who are available to do that run, so I feel awesome. Of course, running is a high impact activity, so I must tell you that there are good low impact activities available for people with a pot belly and who are unfit, and cycling is one of them. And I encourage all of you to get into low impact cardio. And my boss, who's 65 today, does long distance cycling because it's low on your knees, low on your back, and still it can give you some really awesome calorie burns, really awesome highs, and you can see the world like no one in the world has ever seen it. I mean, imagine seeing Iceland on cycle, and seeing the entire countryside in Europe on cycle, and that's what we get to do when we are climbing the Ooty hill on a cycle. You get to see that part of the world like none of your friends have ever seen. And I've cycled from Manali to Leh on, and you see the 360 degrees around you, which really gives you a high that nothing else can give you. And it adds another spark or another dimension to your life, which was missing all this time. And you'll see some familiar faces in our cycling group that does big European cycle rides, because they are not hard and done with friends. It is not so difficult. And of course, gizmos, expensive bikes are like girlfriends. They will keep you on your toes. And with using this, you can then rise above the clouds. So I'm going to end by saying that you got to all take up some kind of mountaineering, whether it's simple low-lying mountains in the Uttaranchal, the lower Himalayas. India is blessed with the Himalayan region. Go to the high Himalayas, try to conquer the fear in your head by conquering summits, because the best views from the top. And if you can reach a summit, killing yourself, going by the edge of adventure, you can do anything. And if you can, then, bursting a vertebral artery during surgery or having a bad screw in the cervical spine is really not a worry for you. So why would you do this? It's not a kida, but it's because of all the stuff I told you. I want to raise my performance, raise my skill sets. I want to have a life with no restrictions, because my life has to be experienced, not lived off the internet or in the books. And with this, I also get to meet stars who read about me, and they know my the sports stamp on my life, and they're happy to come to me because they identify and gel with me. I'm just not another pot-bellied spine surgeon giving advice from an armchair, but I'm a guy who walks the talk. Also, try and involve your family. Most of us have our wives who run with us, who inspire us, give us permission to do the stuff we do. So, with this, I want to conclude by saying that people say that you live only once, but it's not true. You die only once. You live every day. So make that day count for you and be a lambi race ka ghoda. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my time with you.